My friends, we are back. We are back. We are back to being that ruthless, assertive Chelsea in the market that gets deals done behind the scenes and gets them done quickly. In today's News Daily video, I'm going to be speaking to you about how exactly we were able to get this Timo Werner deal signed in the first place, how we beat off competition from Liverpool to sign the player as well. But not only that, I'm also going to be speaking about the latest news in regards to Kai Havertz, Nathan Ake and Ben Chilwell, you guys. I've been telling you for a very long time, for this season, we needed to keep the optimism. This was going to be a completely different transfer window compared to other ones. And yes, I understand that in the past, our expectations have been disappointed. We have been met with defeat time and time again. We've been close to signing big players, very, very close, but we have not been assertive enough to get those deals done. It's not the case anymore. Frank Lampard's come back, and Frank Lampard's brought back that big club feel. Lampard was a legend at this club, one of the greatest players in the history of this game, one of the greatest midfield players of all time, one of the best scoring mids. He has clout. Lampard's name has clout, and not only was he an amazing former player, you guys, he's also proving to be one of the best up-and-coming young managers in Europe. We play attacking, exciting football, you guys. And you know what? I'm getting a bit too gassed. I need to calm myself down a bit. This past 24 hours has been an absolute mazza. I'm going to start with the first story now, and I think it's time to break down this Timo Werner story. Now, just to quickly recap for some of you guys, Werner has signed a 5-year deal. He will be earning between 10 million euros per year. We did pay his full release clause set at 60 million euros. And interestingly enough, it seems like it's happy days for Werner's former club in Stuttgart, because they look to receive up to 15% of the sale of the player. And now that this deal is over, now that the Werner saga is done, now that we won this Werner war, well, it kind of makes sense why Leipzig were so adamant that clubs had to meet his release clause if they wanted to sign the player, because 15% is pretty big, you guys. Anyway, you guys, Matt Law from The Telegraph did release a very insightful and info-packed article in regards to how we were able to sign Timo Werner. Here's how it goes, you guys. It starts off with Lampard and Cech taking an undercover trip, pre-lockdown of course, to Germany to speak directly with Werner in person. And this trip took place in February. Marina gave the go-ahead for both of these guys to travel to Germany. Matt reports that Lampard and Cech's proposal really impressed Werner, his family and his representatives. Lampard and Cech were both impressed equally by Werner's character and his drive and his ambition, and they've remained in contact ever since February. Now, it seems like Cech was a very important asset in getting this deal done. We know that Cech is multilingual, he speaks German, and his ability to speak German was useful in getting this deal done, as he was able to translate Lampard's thoughts to Werner's dad and Werner's agent. And to end things, Lampard told Werner what he expects for next season and the ambitious mentality he wants, which Werner responded to very well. It seems like luck was finally in our favour, because around February, when these talks first started to happen and take place, this was pre-lockdown. So this is around the period where it seemed like we were all realising that, okay, we are going to have to self-isolate pretty soon, and this meant that it was difficult for Werner, his dad and his reps to fly abroad to hold talks. So in that sense, if you wanted to get Werner, you'd have to fly to Germany to hold those formal talks. But you guys, honestly, deeper for a second, yeah? Our manager took time out of his day with him and Cech to personally fly down to Germany to speak directly to Werner, his family and his reps. That is a massive statement of intent. If you're Timo Werner, there's only one way you can respond to this, and that's positively, because this is full tangible proof and evidence that he's serious about you. He's serious about wanting to sign you. He has big hopes for your signing and how you can take things to the next level. And you know what makes things even easier, you guys? The fact that we already signed Hakim Ziyech, and I guarantee to you, I absolutely guarantee that Lampard spoke about how Ziyech is going to help turn Werner's game and take it to the next level. Lampard has proved that he has pulling power. We've signed Ziyech and Werner all because of Lampard's words and Lampard's efforts to persuade these guys to sign for us. It hasn't been since Mourinho back in the day that we've had a manager that has clout like this. Now, there are even more serious implications from this deal, you guys. A big one comes in regards to Marina, because Matt Law reported that it seems like with the formidable pairing that Lampard and Cech have when it comes to speaking to targets and persuading them to sign, it's making Marina's life even easier, because before she was tasked with doing the negotiations as well as the negotiations for the transfer as well. It's a lot of work to do. I can imagine now why we really struggled to get the main targets we wanted. And now that Lampard and Cech can handle that side themselves, it means that Marina only has to focus on the financials, the negotiations, and actually getting the deal done. And all the credit to Marina. We know that she's one of the best at what she does, but I'm giving her credit because, you know what, she made some small mistakes before. It happens. We all make mistakes. I understand that we weren't as assertive when it came to making big signings before. I'm thinking of guys like your Alissons, your Lukakus, etc, etc, but it seemed like she learned from her mistakes and she wasn't messing around, you guys. She paid the full release clause straight. And that's how we were able to sign Werner. Players respond to assertiveness. That's what they respond to the most. If you want to get the player signed, you've got to get this deal done quick. It's as simple as that, you guys. So it's great to know that we have such a formidable team. It's great to know that the synergy across the club is working hand in hand. People are working together. And you guys, the proof is in the pudding. We've got Werner, we've got Ziyech. We're going to sign more players as well. You can bet your bottom dollar that we're already holding talks with other players too. This summer is going to be one of the most important summer windows in God knows how many years. Lampard has brought the ambition back and he's shown the results, you guys. Now, from this point on, we move on to the second story today. And it's in regards to players that we could potentially sign this window as well. And I'm going to start off by speaking about Kai Havertz. Now, you guys, move on to the second story, and that's in regards to Kai Havertz. Now, I'm going to keep things very brief. I know that you guys saw the reports that came out earlier on the timeline from Christian Falk, Mr. Bayern Munich News himself, and he reiterated that there is interest in Kai Havertz. Now, of course, we've been hearing this story for a while. We've been seeing things from Raphael Honigstein and so many other journalists, but we've always been thinking in the back of our heads, is this news actually real? Are we really trying to sign the player? Are we really making those efforts to bring to the club? I can tell you guys that, yes, in fact, this is legit. This is real. We are actually looking at Kai Havertz next. Exciting times to come, you guys. I can't provide too much context. You guys know I normally provide more context and give you some more behind the scoop news, but this time I'm just keeping things very brief. I just wanted to give you guys the confidence that anything you're about to read on Havertz is most likely going to be real. This isn't just some fake news. We've seen clickbait articles time and time again linking stupid players with us. For example, there were reports that came out today suggesting that Owa is a player being looked at, which isn't the case. Now, this moves us on to the implications behind a potential deal. Nini, don't we have enough attacking players? We've just signed Werner, signing Kai Havertz too. What's this going to mean for your Masons, your Pulisic's, your Hudsons? They won't get no game time. Of course, these are real things to think about, but I am under the impression, and this is my subjective opinion, we are going to be fully rotational for next season. I think Lampard's been constantly reiterating that he wants players to have ambition every time in training, to constantly fight for their places, because that's the type of attitude and dynamic that he wants in the team. Players will still have to perform in training to get a first team spot. So this doesn't mean that players won't be out the team and won't be playing any football. There's still going to be subs to be made. Lampard will still adapt his team and formation to his opponents too. So in that sense, I guess Kai Havertz could play, and if you're asking me, he would play behind the striker. We've seen Lampard use Mason Mount in many different tactical roles. For most parts of this season, he has been used as a shadow striker, as a router meter to middling success. And with Kai Havertz, that's a role that fully suits the player. Not only can Kai play in that role, but he can also play up front. And as he's showing now, he has the credentials to play up front. He's played 7 games up front, scoring 7 goals. And that's the type of flexibility that Havertz could offer us. I guess if Havertz was signed, we wouldn't sign another striker as backup to Tammy Abraham, knowing that Havertz can also fill that role too. I'm assuming too that his signing would imply that players like your Jorginhos and your Barclays would be sold and moved on, which makes sense. Remember, Pedro and Willian will be going. We've signed Werner, who can play that striker / wide forward role. So in that sense, we still need to sign one more attacking player. So I guess the club are going all out for their first choice options and targets right now. And Havertz could be someone that we hear a lot more about in the next few days and weeks. So in the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions. How do you think we could use Havertz? What would be your strongest Chelsea lineup too? And now we move on to the third and final report, and that's in regards to the latest surrounding Nathan Ake and Ben Chilwell. This was written by Matt Law, and he confirmed that we are still keeping our interest and maintaining it in Nathan Ake. This really surprised me. Of course, we all knew that Gabriel was a player that we thought was close to signing. However, could there be reasons why that's been stalled and delayed? We still have the ability to exercise our release clause in Nathan Ake that hasn't expired, and that's set at around 40 million. So Nathan Ake does fill some roles, you guys. He has a left foot, he plays as a centre back, he can play in midfield, he can play as a left back too, he has that versatility, and he can play in a back three. I'm also assuming too that because we're turning towards the European market, I'm guessing when it comes to the squad, we need more players that have homegrown status. I guess the advantage with Nathan Ake would be that he knows the club already, he knows his teammates too, he understands some of the tactical principles that Lampard is instilling in the team and the club right now, so he could really suit things and really fit in quite easily. And with Nathan Ake, you know, he has a left foot, he does play very accurate passes too, he can play those switch through balls, those long vertical passes too, he looks to play the ball forward every single time and move it very quickly. You know, this guy is a classic Dutch defender. He's got style, he's got technique, he's got composure. Of course, question marks in regards to how dominant he is aerially, because that's been something that's affected us this season whenever Zuma isn't playing. So let's see what happens on the Nathan Ake front. And to end with Ben Chilwell, I know you guys have been seeing this story time and time again in your timeline and your papers on the internet. Ben Chilwell is the next marquee name that we are trying to sign. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a few things. Number one, I've been telling you guys this for months, for so long. Ben wants to sign for us. He wants to play for us, play under Frank Lampard, play with the players too. He's got friends here, likes the style of football, he likes everything. He wants to be in London. He wants to move. However, the stumbling block is the price tag that Leicester City have put on the player. It seems like the highest we are willing to go up to is 45 million, and even then, that's still quite steep, knowing that that's like the equivalent of 2 Tagliaficos, so I'm not too sure about that. And from what I've heard, you guys, it seems like Lampard isn't too confident in signing Ben Chilwell. He knows that that price tag is a big stumbling block, it's a massive obstacle, and it looks like we probably aren't going to sign the player unless something dramatic happens, unless, I don't know, Ben really does some madness to force a move, or unless Leicester City just wake up and have like a change of heart all of a sudden, which probably isn't going to happen. The reality is, if we could sign, then of course Lampard and co would like to bring him here. However, that isn't a reality. Leicester City's valuation is way too high, and funny enough to you guys, a report came out not too long ago suggesting that Leicester aren't even looking to sell the player, which is obvious because no one's going to pay the money they want. So what does this mean? If you're asking me, you guys, Tagliafico was going to be that second choice option we sign instead. You know, Tagliafico wants to play first team football. We know that Messi has been persuading him to try and sign for Barcelona. However, he knows that with all the output in front of him, his game time could be jeopardized. He wants to leave Ajax to go to the next level, to play consistently at the next level. And if you're asking me, he just suits every need we want. He'd be the perfect foil in behind Loftus-Cheek and Werner down the left-hand side. He'd be perfect for Ziyech's cross-field balls as well. Tagliafico can do both. He can defend, he can attack, he's an extremely proactive player. You guys, I'm hoping we get this deal done now. He's literally half the money of a Ben Chilwell. It needs to happen. I feel confident it is going to happen, you guys. And on that point, I'm going to wrap things up now and keep things moving. I'm EFC, this is Blue Lions CV. What did I tell you guys? What did I tell you? keep the faith, and now we're seeing the results.